Um, I just want to firstly point out, please don't think I'm affiliated to Huel in any which way, shape, or form. Just happens I wore this shirt to the gym. I never kept up the subscription on their food, but I've got the t-shirts. If anybody's wondering, then that's what that is. Um, I wanted to talk a bit about interview rejection and job rejection. Um, I think for many of us, that's something which comes hard to deal with. I mean, at 49 years old, heading for 50, I've fought it over the years where I've, been a carer for my son for the past 3 or 4 years, and I kept up my skills, developing e-learning tools and courses, and even run 2 successful online academies. And a lot of that was A, to keep me active, and a lot of it as well to put something on my CV, such that when the time would come that I could apply for a job, that I could at least say, look what I've been doing. And I think what's annoyed me over the years, I think I put it into another video as well, is just dealing with the rejections. And I think, employers are never malicious, I think. And I think, to be fair to employees, you apply for a job, you give a CV, and even after looking at a piece of paper, I think CVs are antiquated these days. I don't think they're fit for the purpose anymore, especially given other technologies that we have. And then there's interview questions where you're being asked what you would do. I'm useless at those questions. Describe what you would do. Well, if I had to do it, I would get up and do it. But to sit down and tell you what I would do, and you've just dumped it on me, I frankly don't really know. But you give them whatever spiel you hope that they're going to be picking up and hope for the best. I think the last couple of jobs that's what I've lost out on. And, I think what annoys me is, okay, that's what I said in the interview. But don't you think, from looking at my portfolio behind me, that I would cope very well under those circumstances? Do you not think that? And I think really that's what annoys me. That they got this pigeonhole way of interviewing people, and they try to draw out your skills and ability using standard interview questions, which I don't think really tell them much about who you are anyway. But I think really for me, I've given up trying to do things to impress interviewers. I've given up trying to do things to impress other people. I'm doing what I need to do for me now and for my customer base. My last interview, for example, looked at a couple of videos and things I did for space cadets, and they criticised the quality in their feedback and gave that as another dumb excuse for why they wouldn't offer me the job. And I turned around and said, well, no disrespect, but I doubt whoever you've taken on has gone and done that and achieved that and pulled that off the way I have. Project managed it and planned it and built it, put it up there, and even sold it. But, sorry, it's not good enough for you, but it's good enough for my customers. And, you think, what the hell is good enough for you? And you look at what they've got, and you think, well, to do that, I've got to be an animator, I've got to be a video editor, I've got to be a voiceover artist, I've got to be a JavaScript programmer. So right away, you've got a wardrobe of hats that you need to put on, and there's only so many hours in a day. I've tried learning PHP, tried learning JavaScript, so I could do all this magic stuff, and quite frankly, I don't have a clue on it. And the learning curve is like that. I mean, God, it'd be easier climbing Mount Everest than it would be to master half of the stuff you've got there. And then by the time you get there, the goal has changed again, and that's how it starts to feel like after a while. And I think after, quite some time of feeling bitter and angry at being turned down and everything else, I think, it dawned on me today that what I'm going to do is I'm not going to worry about them anymore. If they're interested in me, they can come to me. But otherwise, I'm just doing stuff for myself and hopefully building it up myself such I could be self-employed. And that's my advice to people, really. If you keep getting rejected, keep getting thrown away, not good enough, look at what you can do and see if you can turn a hobby or an interest or something into a job. I'm an amateur astronomer, and I built one of the most successful online academies for GCSE astronomy. Built another one for kids, space cadets. I'm not saying all go away and do that, because I've got that. But, look for a niche. That's what I say to people. Whenever you ask how Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson made it, or Mark Pearson, so I'm going to drop his name in it because I've heard of him and I think he's a great guy. Dwayne Jackson. They'll say, oh, how did you get there? Lord Alan Sugar, how did you get there? Like you think it's going to work for you. It isn't, because they've already used that magic bullet. Roses by design that got Mark Pearson to where he is today. Then he went on to My Voucher Codes. He was on Secret Millionaire, done very well for himself. Dwayne Jackson, for those of you who have heard of Cash Flow, that's him. He wrote that. But both of them very successful people. Me, I was easy as IT on the UKBF at that time, laughing at them. Yeah. Who's got the final laugh now? But I think one lesson, and I'm no richer for it, that I've drawn from those experiences is the question you should ask is not how you got there, because that's not going to work for you. It's looking at the common denominator for every one of these successes. Each person who pulled it off found a niche. They found something that wasn't there. Mark Pearson's Petals printer for printed on Valentine's, for printing for Valentine's Day. Niche. Nobody else was doing it. Dwayne Jackson, who came up with his cloud accounting and the accounting packages. Niche. Nobody else was doing it. Sir Alan Sugar, who came up with these selling aerials outside the back of a van that he'll rave on about, and then went on to produce Amstrad. Niche. Nobody else was doing it. Note the word niche. Nobody else was doing it. So Richard Branson, he had a bit of backup, and he struggled, that fella, but he finally made it, and off the back of Boy George, I think, and Boy George was signed up with him, and Mike Oldfield and Tubular Bells. It was those people that suddenly elevated him up, but it took a lot of trial and error, fighting, losing to achieve that. It wasn't an easy ride. Mike Dyson, is it Mike Dyson? Sorry, I know it's Dyson. I don't know if his first name's Mike. But, even he was nearly bankrupt developing that vacuum cleaner of his. Mortgaged his house, nearly lost the whole lot. So I think that the takeaways are is being, persistent, perseverant, which I am, and being optimistic, but always planning. Richard Branson, for example, always carries a notebook to put any notes in. My takeaway from it isn't so much putting notes in. I mean, I've got a mobile phone, I can do that on anyway. But I think the biggest advice I can give to anybody who wants to succeed and try to produce something for themselves is stop beating yourself up, okay? But above all, change the attitude, maybe. I mean, if you're angry and embittered, that's not good qualities and they're toxic to the soul. Some of the best ways I have found inspiration have been literally going outside, going to the shops, going for a ride on the bike, going for a walk for a cuppa with my son, getting away from the computer, getting away from it all. And even though that's counterintuitive, because what you really want to be doing is at the computer plugging away, that's a bit like being at the gym, doing the same exercise over and over and over and over and over. You may think that you're being productive, but you're being less productive and less productive every single day. That's why sometimes going to the gym, going for a bit of a workout, going for a walk, riding your bike, walking the dog, all these things take you away from all that. And strangely enough, when you come back, you feel a lot more fitter, rejuvenated, invigorated to come forward. And that's when the best ideas start coming out. That's when the best ideas start to flow. I always say to people, if you found a business idea, go for something that requires the least amount of investment. Go for something like that. If you can get away with using your laptop, your mobile phone and the internet, you're halfway there. You can find hosting space. That you can open up a page on Facebook for free. Domain names are to a penny. Okay, the one for 10 quid or thereabouts. We can buy a domain name. Hosting is quite cheap, so you can easily get something up there quite quickly. So all that's in your favour. It's just a question of finding out what you want to do and doing some background work. How much competition have you got? What are they charging? Can you undercut them? But the best businesses in life come from when you have a requirement for something and it isn't there. That's where you find the niche. I need something doing and there's nobody here to do it. Oh, I mean, for example, bike broke down, Halfords are closed, or I can't get my bike into the car. Really need somebody to come out here and do this. Ergo, mobile bike mechanic could maybe come and fix that. I wonder how many people around here could use a mobile bike mechanic, somebody to go around, that's one idea. I'm not saying that I've done it, I've considered it, but too much money. But, that's where these ideas come from. They come from inspiration. Another one, need all these kids' hairs cut, but the local barber's closed. But what do I do here? Going to be sitting in the barbers for ages. Ding dong, is there a market for a mobile hairdresser? Can I do that? How much would it cost to train? This is where ideas come from, and it's best not to be flooded by too many of them. It's best to focus on the one thing, have a business plan, look at where your market is, and steadily aim for that. And yeah, good luck. And just be careful if you're on universal credit though, because you'll need to declare that after a while to them if it's extra money coming in. But those were a couple of nuggets of information I wanted to pass on, and a few things that I found useful over the years. And I think, the main thing is, mental health, well-being, maintain that, because when that goes, and your motivation goes, that is very hard to get back. All right, guys, so that's all from me for now, and good luck.